Currently is serving as a Vice Chancellor of the Somaiya Vidyavihar University and Provost of Somaiya Vidyavihar and Somaiya Ayur Vihar under the Somaiya Trust, Mumbai. He has been at the helm of affairs of many higher educational and scientific research establishments for over 50 years as serving as a teacher, researcher, and a philosopher. He has won critical acclaim in the field of science and research and elected fellow of the Indian Academy of Sciences. He's one among the top cited chemistry researchers in the country. He created an internationally renowned research group in the area of polymer science, and about 60 doctoral and postdoctoral researchers have been trained under his direct supervision in the elite universities like Calicut, Mahatma Gandhi, Kottayam, University of Tübingen, and University of Mainz, Germany. A true teacher is one who would help the students to realize their innate talents, and Professor Pillai fits properly in this frame. The researchers trained under him occupy positions as directors of national labs, VCs of the universities. They have won prizes like Bhatnagar Prize, Infosys prizes. They have become university professors, principals, and scientists in the country and abroad. He was also a visiting research professor in the University of Lausanne, Switzerland. He's a top executive position. He holds a top executive position which he occupied include the vice chairmanship and chairmanship of the University Grant Commission, Government of India, executive director of the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, Vice Chancellor of IGNOU, Chairman of Distance Education Council, Government of India, Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi University, Kottayam, Kerala, Vice Chancellor of Cochin, University of Science and Technology, Kerala. After superannuation from the Government of India and Government of Kerala, Professor Pillai worked as President of Mewar University, Rajasthan. He's also working as a President of New Delhi NCR-based civil society organization, Human Development Foundation India since 2015. He's on the director board of Apollo Group of Hospitals and on the boards of several academic and research establishments in the country and abroad. He is the recipient of several national and international recognitions and awards, which includes like M.V. Pillai National Award for the Top Academician of India, awards Swadeshi Shastra Puraskaram, Materials Research Society of Indian Royal Society of Chemistry. Lifetime Achievement Award is also to his credit of for Indian Chemical Society and Indian Science Congress Association and ISCA Presidential Gold Medal from the Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh. Professor Rajshekharan Pillai has been the member of drafting committee of the UNESCO Policy on Higher Education representing India. He's also serving as the Chancellor of ICFAI University Tripura and as its Chairman Board of Governors. Today we are privileged, sir, to have an opportunity to listen to you. On behalf of all gathered here, I welcome you, sir, to the National Voters Awareness Campaign. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me thank each and every one of you and congratulate each and every one of you on the National Voters Day, 25th January. I am extremely glad that the Somaiya, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Am I audible? I am extremely glad that the Somaiya Vidyavihar University, each and every one of you, are taking this day very seriously, creating awareness about the people's participation in democracy. Empowerment of the people is only through participation in the proactive participation in the democracy, and the voting right gives an individual the right to express and participate in the formation of the government, in the formation of the policies, and also in charting the future of a country. If you just look at the histories of nations all over the world, you can see that wherever the exercising of franchise is very effectively utilized, those countries are progressing very significantly. Ours is a very big democracy. Probably when you just look at the election and voting happening in the state and central government and the central for the last several years since independence, you can see that we are the strongest democracy in that perspective. But of course, even when we were not that literate and all that, people used democracy, exercising their franchise in a very significant way, and therefore it is very important that youngsters, the universities, the colleges, make a real awareness of the importance of the National Voters' Day, and also responsible participation in the democracy and the formation of the government. You have seen that such responsible participations have really changed the path of governments, really changed the direction of the countries, and it is the way of protecting democracy, and it is the right of every growing individual, those who become eligible for the franchise, to understand the importance of it. We may think that it is only one of my vote. No, it is your vote is as big as the entire country's vote. That is the way we have to look at the importance of voters. Creating an awareness about empowerment through participation in democracy is very important. Of course, we might have studied in schools, in colleges, maybe political science, as part of political science, much more specialization the way and all that. But even it is very important to know that it is not just the literate people or educated people who are using the franchise power very effectively. Even the illiterate, they use this power very most effectively, and therefore creating an awareness about the importance of it in the progress of the country, in the development of the country, in the development of the nation, and not only for the nation, the overall universal democracy, universal people participation. Elections are very important. We are thinking definitely about the National Voters' Day, but it's also important if you just look at the UNESCO's programs, UNDP's programs. There are a large number of very specific activities for creating people aware about the importance of voting and participation in democracy. And I'm glad that today, of course, I was there for the that is a meeting which was organized by the government, where we all participated, and all over the country we are doing this exercise today, an oath-taking ceremony, and also an elocution competition, probably not probably highlighting on the importance of this particular day. And let me congratulate each and every one of the students and the teachers who help the students to organize this activity. My congratulations to the entire activity, and I wish that activities of this kind can make a democracy strong. And we, as university students, we as academic community, we have a bounden responsibility to spread this message not only amongst us, across the whole nation, to people who are not in the university system or educated. We have a responsibility. I am sure that this particular elocution competition and understanding of the basic principles of election will definitely help us to empower ourselves. Let me wish the program all success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for all the speech that you gave. It was very informative, very important for us to know about voting system. Thank you, sir. So now let's begin with our oath ceremony.
Hello, good evening everyone. We start the oath ceremony. First in Marathi. I am Shubham Pawar from MSPJ. I started the oath ceremony in Marathi first. आम्ही भारताचे नागरिक लोकशाहीवर निष्ठा ठेवून याद्वारे प्रतिज्ञा करतो की आपल्या देशाच्या लोकशाही परंपरांचे जतन करू आणि मुक्त निपक्षपाती व शांततापूर्ण वातावरणातील निवडणुकांचे पावित्र्य राखू व प्रत्येक निवडणुकीत निर्भयपणे तसेच धर्म, वंश, जात, समाज, भाषा यांच्या विचारांच्या प्रभावात
Already done my
किंवा कोणत्याही प्रलोभनास बळी न पडता मतदान करू.
हम भारत के नागरिक लोकतंत्र में अपनी पूर्ण आस्था रखते हुए यह शपथ लेते हैं कि हम अपने देश की लोकतांत्रिक परंपराओं की मर्यादा को बनाए रखेंगे तथा स्वतंत्र, निष्पक्ष एवं शांतिपूर्ण निर्वाचन की गरिमा को अक्षुण्ण रखते हुए निर्भीक होकर धर्म, वर्ग, जाति, समुदाय, भाषा अथवा अन्य किसी भी प्रलोभन से प्रभावित हुए निर्वाचनों में अपने मताधिकार का प्रयोग करेंगे.
We, the citizens of India, having abiding faith in democracy, hereby pledge to uphold the democratic traditions of our country and the dignity of free, fair, and peaceful elections, and to vote in every election fearlessly and without being influenced by consideration or religion, race, caste, language, or any inducement.
Now, to take you forward with the event, now let's move on to our beloved participants who will display an amazing show of their elocution skills and enchant us with their poems and literary insights. But first of all, we have our jury here, our judges, to judge today's event. Our first judge for today is Dr. Satish Mande. We welcome you, sir. Sir is an MA in Hindi from University of Mumbai and PhD in Hindi from University of Mumbai, Diploma in Higher Education 1980, University of Mumbai. Sir is also a winner of Sagarmal Khetan Memorial Prize for highest marks in Hindi, BA examination at University of Mumbai in 1977 April. Sir was also a former associate professor of Head Hindi Department of KJ Somaiya College of Arts and Commerce. Also, Sir has also edited books which include Devesh Thakur Rachnavali, 16 volumes, 21वीं सदी और हिंदी, हिंदी लघु कथा, चिंतन और सृजन, महानगर सप्तक, अल्प विराम, कथावर्ष, आदिवासी केंद्रित हिंदी साहित्य, कथा की नई जमीन और भगवान दास मोरवाल. Sir is also a co-writer of more than 15 books. Sir is also editor of Srijan Sandarbh Literary Quarterly Magazine and Samichin UGC Care Listed Magazine. Sir has also been awarded Maharashtra State Hindi Sahitya Academy, awarded Acharya Nandulare Bajpayee Award Gold for critical books Samkaleen Kavita Srijan Sandarbh in the year 2016-17. We welcome you, sir. Thank you so much for gracing our event with your presence. Sir, would you like to say something to our participants?
We will tell afterwards when they will perform, after their performance.
Okay, sure, sir.
Now only.
So we would like to invite our second guest for today, Dr. Anand B. Bodhale. Sir is currently working in KJSCE as an assistant professor in communication skills English, and he has an education background of PhD English language and literature, Masters in Philosophy American Literature, B.Ed English and History, Masters English Language and Literature, BA English, and he has taught courses like communication skills, professional communication skills, presentation and communication techniques, business communication, and ethics. Sir has also was involved in publications such as Bodhale Anand and Dr. Rajesh Karnakal, Critical Perspective of Multiple Exploitation and Abuse of Dalit Female Characters, in Sharan Kumar Limbale's The Outcast Journal of Higher Education and Research Society, Issue 1, Volume 3, October 2014, 3037. And also, he has participated in conferences and seminars such as presented research papers on the ghettoization of Dalit women in physically exploitive work in select autobiographies, a study in a day of two, National Seminar on India Dalit Literature and Culture Studies of Swami Ramnath Tirtha, Marathwada University, Nanded. He has been teaching in faculty for 17 years.
Before starting with the competition, I would like to really thank Professor Pillai sir and Gilke sir for giving this opportunity to organize this event. It was not possible without their kind support. Thank you so much, sir. And it was great speech indeed. You motivated us, encouraged us, and thank you so much for that speech. Yes, Vaishnavi, please take over.
Thank you, sir. So moving on with our event, we would like to call upon our first participant, Bhargavi.
I hope I am audible to everyone here.
Yes, you're audible. Please
Good
go ahead.
evening. Yes, okay. So I'll begin right now. Good evening, respected dignitaries and all my dear friends. I am Bhargavi. I am going to speak on the most important topic is that magnificent means to change the system. Right to vote. On this auspicious day of National Voters Day, I would like to draw to you. I would like to draw you to an important thing. It's an election season right now, and 5 states are going to the polls. And in that, we see various requests coming from politicians as well as advertisements saying that every vote counts. So every vote counts, and you must vote, and your vote matters. Why do we see that? The reason is because vote actually matters. The citizens' vote contributes to the development of the country, on the policies for the welfare of the people. Now I would like to draw to your attention, like basically, vote plays an important role in society, in various organizations, and not only in politics, but in various industries, societies, schools, colleges, and everywhere. Now, when I was in school, my various students used to participate in various elections. Elections for prefects, head boy, head girl, everything, and they used to come and speak, and they used to tell about their what they're going to do. They used to show their symbols, and they would tell us to vote for them. So that's how our politicians also used to are giving speeches right now, requesting everyone to vote. So yes, vote, and they tell us to vote. Now, for example, now I'm going to tell you that why vote contributes for a significant change in the system. For example, there's a society and it's headed by a secretary, chairman, and various members of the society. Now that particular chairman or a secretary is bit wrongful, or he does certain things which are harmful to society. Now, a person like me would like to revolt, would like to tell my fellow society members that whatever is happening in this society is incorrect. But no one listens to me. And coincidentally, on one particular day, I see a poster which says, okay, there is some election, and you can and please vote, and the candidate list is, and for list is open. You can list your names, and you can request that you can file nominations and fight the elections, and you request each and every society member to actually vote for a rightful person, and with your courage and everything, thankfully that members get changed, and hopefully society works very nicely. The members, the heads, work for the society in a most better way. Now I know it's easier than done, because in this country it's really difficult to actually convince the people to vote. Because I'm telling you this. No, I'm sure on elections day you would see people actually very various people, be it old or be it physically challenged or be it women, everyone is coming for vote. But as I said, every coin has two sides. Now another side of the coin would say, okay, it's election day, it's okay, I'll spend time with my family. How does it matter anyway, because the system doesn't work. I mean, for these, they're kind of common people, who are very troubled of everything happening in the society. So they would say, oh, system doesn't change at all, so why should I vote? But no, that's not the thing. The society, your vote matters. Now I'll tell you why. For example, okay, this is the constituency. Please don't take it seriously, okay? For example, there's a person A and B. A is corrupt. A has a lot of power, muscle power, money power, everything, and he can use it every way to sway his voters, sway to the voters to him. But however, there's a person B who is very nice, who works for the people, but he doesn't have this money power, muscle power, anything. Now, for example, if very various people vote for A and B at almost is equal level, But however, at a certain point of time, there was a group of people who believed, okay, see, system won't change, so why should I vote? And that system, and so that particular group of people don't vote for that person. Thing happens that the A wins and the B loses. So then, how can we, say, okay, see, system didn't change. System didn't change because many of us didn't go out for the vote. So yes, voting matters. Your vote really matters in countries' development, countries' welfare, and that's why we youngsters get this opportunity. Not only we youngsters, but everyone present on this panel gets this opportunity so that we can build our country for us and for our various future generations to come. So I think it's a everyone say like, okay, time is important, every second matters. So every vote matters for the welfare of the country. So at the end, I would like to say, please choose your vote wisely, and vote in such a way that it contributes to to your country, and the country gets better and better. Thank you very much.
Very well said, Bhargavi. So we will like to invite our second participant, Mr. Sanjay Giri. Sanjay, are you there? I guess he's not there. So let us move on with Ishika Khandelwal. Ishika, are you there? Okay, I guess even he's not there. She's not there. So, uh, Vidya Dada Fulake.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, you can start.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. मैं उस जिक्र हूँ जहाँ छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज जैसे और राजा था। मैं उस देश के नागरिक हूँ जहाँ मिल पर मतलब से जाता था। मैं उस देश के नागरिक हूँ जहाँ द्वार पर चिड़िया को पाया जाता था। मैं उस देश की नागरिक हूँ जहाँ भूगोल से पहले इस ब्रह्मांड का भूगोल समझ आता था। A very good evening to all the respected principals and teachers here. All my dear friends. That I am Vidya Pugay from FI BCom Joshi Bedekar College from Thane. As we know, we can conducted a competition of election competition. So I can started my speech. Democracy is a political system in which the citizens are involved in the decision and governing of the country. And regarding the citizen, that will be affect their lives. The citizen have the right to participate directly or indirectly in the spacing of the country and through the voting system. And has a citizen of the democratic society, and we can exercise the right to choice the ruling government that will be lead to the country to a representative of the people. However, the youth country has developed it on the differences forward political voting and giving a rise in concern has much to vote. Youth are the leaders of the future who will be determine the country. But therefore, political participation is an important aspect of the country. And the rise is the vote youth not voting is a obviously event, and that will be determined that will be a contributor due to the physiological behavior and the mindset and attitude. The one of the issue that due to the youth voters feeling unmotivated due to the lack of knowledge and awareness and education towards the voting and political system, rising the political knowledge and by including the subject in university and college, and that
So I guess she had some network issues. So what shall we do right now? We should wait for her or we should go further?
We'll wait for a minute, and then if she doesn't get connected, then we can start.
Okay, sir.
We can move on, Disha.
Okay, sir. Vaishnavi, over to you.
So our next participant is Simar Kaur Titeja.
Yeah, am I audible? And let me know if my video, my audio, everything is clear or not. Just
Yes,
once.
yes.
Everything's good to go?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right. So, good evening, everyone. I, Simakota teacher, stand before you to present my views on the given topic, the magnificent means to change the system, right to vote. India is the biggest democracy in the world, but at India also the strongest democracy. My answer to this question is an absolute no. What do you mean by democracy? Abraham Lincoln had defined democracy as the government of the people, by the people, for the people. But is it true for India? Because in a democracy, elections are the biggest opportunity to bring about changes, and vote is the biggest weapon for this change. Voting, as defined by Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is an expression of opinion on preference. I would like to state that the ballot is stronger than the bullet. It is the most powerful non-violent tool we have in a democratic society, and we have got to use it. Voting is not an act of political freedom, it is an act of political conformity. Those who refuse to vote are not expressing silence. They are screaming in the politicians' ears that you do not represent me, and this is not a process in which my voice matters. We all have to realize that voting is not only a right, it is a power. When we vote, we take back our power to choose, to speak, and to stand with those who support us and each other. So when I was researching about this article and when I got to know about this competition, so I was going through a lot of articles on internet to find out much more information, and I came across a really beautiful article named "Where Have We Gone Wrong with Our Rights?" And it's stated as in the textbook of social sciences, right? We should include fundamental duties before fundamental rights, so that we realize the right to vote is a fundamental duty and responsibility. And it was so beautiful that it had and it left an expression in my heart. We also have to realize that India is the largest, has the highest youth population with 22% in total. We have to inspire others and make them aware of the responsibility that they are now capable of carrying on their shoulders. Now the question arises is that yes, right to vote matters, but how does one vote make a difference, or what is the power? What how can one vote be the magnificent means to change the system? So for supporting this, I would like to just state a few examples. So Atal Bihari Vajpayee lost the no confidence motion and his prime ministership in the parliament by a single vote. Rajasthan Assembly elections 2008, State Congress Chief CP Joshi lost to Kalyan Singh Chauhan of BJP by a single vote, with Joshi pulling out 62,215 votes against 62,216 votes being polled by Chauhan. So one vote does make a difference. If we can't do anything else for our country, let's at least cast our vote with responsibility to make our own future better. I would also like to state that we have been through much darker time than these, and each generation of Indians carried us through to the other side, not by sitting around and waiting for things to happen, not by leaving it to others to do something, but by leading the movement for change themselves. So if you get involved and you want, something powerful happens, hope happens. I'm not saying that, if you vote, every bit of cruelty and sadness will suddenly go away. But with each vote you cast and with each new candidate you select, it surprises you with the victory that you supported. A spark of hope happens. This can be the legacy of our generation. We can be the generation that at the critical moment stood up and reminded everyone that how powerful voting is and how we have to fight for it and believe in it. In the end, I would just like to end my speech with a little poem. We gave them their seats, the 272. We voted them to power between me and you. But whether they prove to be wise men or fools, this nation is ours. So let's play by the rules. Every vote does really count to let our officials know. For their actions, they may account, or their power will never grow. They might have the seats, the 272, but the country belongs to me and you. And we are a billion and a plus. At the end of the day, the onus is on us. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful audience. And with this, I rest my case. Thank you.
Very well said, Simakar. It was really beautiful and the poem was great. So let's continue with our competition. So, Vidya, are you connected? Vidya, if you are connected, you can go with your speech. You can continue your speech, or else we can move further. Okay. So let's move further with our next participant, Sifa Naushid Ansari.
Good evening, everyone. I feel honored for being part of today's celebration, 25 January National Voters Day. Myself, Shifa Naushad Ansari. I am a student of Darul Rahmat Trust, A. Kalshekhar Degree College, FYPA, Mumbai University. I am going to present a speech before you today on National Voting Day. Voting in a country is a right given to everyone who has crossed 18 years of age to choose the leader they like. It is left up to an individual to decide whether to cast their vote or not. Making it compulsory can or cannot give good result. Compulsory voting was introduced in 1893 for men and 1948 for women. From 1860 to 1998, compulsory voting was enacted in 20 democracies, most of which were in Western Europe or Latin America. As a democratic country, India is built on the foundation of election. Our parliament and legislature are of the people, by the people, and for the people. Voting is a constitutional right that we are privileged to have. We take it for guaranteed. Right to elect who we want and the right to make the change. There are many arguments where few are in favor while others are against the idea of mandatory voting. Mandatory voting is summed of view that vote based on appointment of administering delegates is the duty of resident as opposed to a privilege manage the cost of resident unavoidably to designate representatives, equating in kind to comparable common duties, for example, tax assessment or military assistance. Casting a ballot in this majority rule, government is viewed as one of the obligation to community. Mandatory voting keeps the political framework respective to the individual. New gathering and up and comers who need affluent support can challenge this decision without going through huge amount of cash just to get the citizen to survive stalls. The general concept of forcing individual to cast a ballot appears indeed hostile to majority rule. Besides, it's a sectarian issue. One late investigation of polling from measures found that obligatory democratic can support the reform situation by up to 20 rate points. Supports of a required democratic state are generally popular. Government needs to get with every citizen. Democratic does not work if an enormous bit of the population does not partake. This implies those gathering are less inclined to have their voice heard since more affluent Americans are bound to cast a ballot. Ballot strategies are excessively intended for their inclination. One of the chances that casting a ballot was compulsory in the US individually would be motivated to give more consideration to mission and recent development. Necessary democratic would likewise permit the contender to invest less energy and cash on getting citizens to the surveys and more on clarifying where they remain on key issues. Voting is more than a right, is an obligation on the off chance that Americans needs their administrations to generally be of the individual, by the individual and for the individual. Everybody needs to go to the surveys on election day. A few people contend that casting a ballot is a city obligation. However, rather Americans who decide not to cast a ballot can practice their urban obligation otherly, for example, electing to help their networks or serving on a jury. It should be made mandatory to help everyone realize their responsibilities towards the nation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sifa. Now we will move on to our next participant, Tanzila Khan.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are. Please go ahead.
And am I visible as well? And like this software is a little laggy for me, so I'm just trying to figure out.
No, you're not visible, but you're audible.
Am I visible now?
No, not yet.
The camera is on for me and I can see myself.
Yes, yes, now you're visible. Go ahead.
Okay. I hope my audio is not lagging at least.
No, it's not.
Okay, fine. I'll start then. There's a very well known phrase that states to get what you want, you have to take part. You have to lead the change. A very good evening to each one of you present here. Today we have gathered here on the auspicious event of National Voters' Day. I think all of us appreciate the fact that today's youth is very well aware of its responsibilities and mature enough to understand what's wrong and right. However, it's saddening to see that we failed to realize the importance of casting a vote. Moving back in time, when I was a kid, whenever I saw a pothole on the road, I would think, why are people not responsible enough to fix this? As I grew older, I understood no one would care to look into it unless anyone would point it out. And that's when I realized the importance of the roles and duties of a responsible citizen. The first thing that I did when I turned 18 was enroll myself in the voters list. There's a sense of pride when you do that. Well, all of us know that India is the largest democracy in the world. Yet, there is no compulsion in voting. If democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people, then the greater the involvement of the people, the truer and purer the democracy that will emerge. That sounds simple, but is it convincing? Today, all of us are on the very well known app Instagram. We spend hours scrolling through content which is entertaining and sometimes even informative. And I'm sure all of us must have encountered hate comments at least once in our lifetime. Open up any controversial post and check out its comment section. You'll always see two people fighting over a political party, pointing out flaws, or maybe even targeting a person, a community, or a bill passed by the party in general. These are the same people that take shelter behind fake accounts and point out the flaws in our government and its governing policies. It's high time that all of them come out and put forth their opinion openly and vote for the right candidate they choose to represent themselves. Taking a scenario of 2019 elections, 912 million people were eligible for voting. However, only 67% of them casted their votes. This is the highest percentage ever. Our country needs a government that understands the problem of every citizen, takes into consideration all classes of people before formulating policies. Educate the illiterate, support the backward class, eradicate injustice, and most importantly, spread awareness. There are hundreds of government schemes for the farmers and the lower class out there. But does this information even reach them? If they were literate enough to have access to these provisions, would they even be lagging behind? I hence wish to choose a government that decides on a developing country by taking its citizens together along with it. A government that doesn't think twice while serving justice. A government that has its pillars of strength revolving around development of people. A government that sets an example for the youth, and to fulfill all this, I wish to choose a government that I think can represent my ideas the best. And therefore, I exercise my voting right. Thank you.
So let's move forward with our next participant, Rutuja Thapre.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
ओके, थँक्यू. नमस्कार, मी ऋतुजा ढापरे आणि मी चेतना कॉलेजची विद्यार्थिनी आहे. माझा विषय आहे लोकशाही आणि तरुण मतदार. जगातील सर्वात मोठा लोकशाही देश म्हणून भारताची ख्याती आहे. लोकशाही म्हणजे प्रौढ मताधिकाराच्या आधारे खुल्या व निपक्षपाती निवडणुकांद्वारे लोकांनी निवडून दिलेल्या प्रतिनिधींद्वारे चालणारे राज्य. अथेन्समध्ये लोकशाही राज्य पद्धतीचं बीज आढळतं. लोकशाहीचे प्रत्यक्ष लोकशाही आणि अप्रत्यक्ष लोकशाही असे दोन प्रमुख प्रकार सामान्यतः मानले जातात. भारतात अप्रत्यक्ष प्रकारची लोकशाही आहे. भारतात 18 वर्षे पूर्ण झालेल्या व्यक्तींना मतदानाचा अधिकार आहे. म्हणून लोकशाही सक्षमीकरणाच्या प्रक्रियेत तरुणांनी सजग होऊन मोठ्या प्रमाणात भाग घेतला पाहिजे. यासाठी भारत निवडणूक आयोगानं प्रत्येक शाळा आणि महाविद्यालयामध्ये निवडणूक साक्षरता मंच स्थापन करण्याचे आदेश दिले आहेत. कारण अशी मंडळे सक्रिय होणार नाहीत तोवर आपली पुढची पिढी लोकशाही साक्षर होणार नाही. 18 वर्षे पूर्ण झाल्यावर प्रत्येक नागरिकाला मतदानाचा अधिकार प्राप्त होतो, कारण तो आपल्याला संविधानाने दिला आहे. आणि या हक्कांमुळे आपण आपल्याला हव्या असणाऱ्या प्रतिनिधीला निवडून देऊन त्याच्याकडून समाजाचा आणि देशाचा विकास करून घेऊ शकतो. आणि हा प्रतिनिधी सामान्य नागरिकांचे प्रश्न सोडवायला हातभार लावू शकतो. 18 ते 19 या वयोगटाची लोकसंख्येतील टक्केवारी 3.5% आहे आणि मतदार नोंदणीतील टक्केवारी केवळ 1.25% आसपास आहे. 20 ते 29 या वयोगटाच्या लोकसंख्येतील टक्केवारी 18% आहे, पण मतदार यादीतील टक्केवारी 13.5%च्या आसपास आहे. ही तफावत बरीच बोलकी आहे. तरुणांच्या लोकसंख्येची टक्केवारी जेव्हा मतदार यादीमध्ये 100% प्रतिबिंबित होईल, तेव्हाच आजच्या तरुण पिढीनं लोकशाही व्यवस्थेत सहभागी होण्याची पहिली पायरी पूर्ण केली असं म्हणता येईल. 18 जानेवारी 2022ला गडचिरोली जिल्ह्यातील मुलचेरा तालुक्यात ग्रामपंचायतीमध्ये 5 जागांसाठी मतदान होते. त्या दिवशी तरुणांना लाजवेल असा उत्साह असलेल्या एका 109 वर्षांच्या आजीने मतदान करून त्यांनी आपला हक्क बजावला. तरुण मतदारांनी या आजींकडून बोध घ्यावा व मिळालेल्या हक्कांचा मान राखावा. तरुण पिढी बऱ्याचदा सिनेमे पाहून आणि नावाजलेल्या नायकाचे नायिकेचे अनुसरण करतात. मध्यंतरी OTT प्लॅटफॉर्मवर मंडेला नावाचा तमिळ सिनेमा आला होता. तो सिनेमा एका मतदानाचं मूल्य किती असू शकतं व मतदान हे किती जाणीवपूर्वक करण्याची गोष्ट आहे याची जाणीव करून देणारा होता. मला असं वाटतं की प्रत्येक पालकांनी, थोरा मोठ्यांनी व शिक्षकांनी आपल्या मुलांना देशाने म्हणजे संविधानाने दिलेले अधिकार, त्यांचे महत्त्व आणि हे अधिकार देण्यामागचे कारण, त्याचप्रमाणे आपण आपल्या देशासाठी काय करणे अपेक्षित आहे, ह्या आणि अशा अनेक गोष्टींची शिकवण देणे गरजेचे आहे, जेणेकरून आपला देश विकासाकडे आणि साक्षरतेकडे वाटचाल करेल. उद्या 26 जानेवारी भारत देशाचा 73वा प्रजासत्ताक दिन. त्यानिमित्ताने आपण सगळे मिळून निश्चय करूया की अधिकाधिक तरुण मतदारांना त्यांना मिळालेल्या अधिकारांची जाणीव करून देऊ आणि येत्या निवडणुकीत तरुण मतदारांची संख्या जास्तीत जास्त असेल अशी आशा करू. धन्यवाद.
Thank you so much, Rutuja. Now moving on to our next participant, we have Sayed Zohra. Can we have Sayed Zohra on the mic, please? Yes, she's here. Oh, no, you are on mute.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. My name is Sayed Zohra, and my today's topic is democracy and young voters. Democracy is a system of governance where the citizens of a country choose representatives who form a governing body. It is the finest form of government in which people have the authority to deliberate and decide legislation. It provides an environment that respects human rights and fundamental freedoms, and in which the freely expressed will of people is exercised irrespective of the caste, creed, religion, and education. Democracy, also called as a rule of majority, means whatever the majority of people decide, it has to be followed or implemented. The representatives winning with the most number of votes will have the power. It is associated with higher human accumulation and higher economic freedom. India became a democratic nation after independence from the British rule in 1947. Today, India is the largest democratic nation in the world. The democracy of our country operates on 5 democratic principles, including sovereign, socialism, secularism, democratic, republic. Abraham Lincoln said, democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. There is undeniably no doubt that the core of democracies lies in making people the ultimate decision makers. India is a parliamentary democratic republic where the president is head of the state and prime minister is head of the government. It works on the functioning of 3 bodies, namely legislative, executive, and judiciary. People of democracy are more tolerant and accepting of each other's differences. Every citizen above the age of 18 years in India has the right to vote. The government is making continuous efforts to make each and every participant to cast a vote. Meaningful democracy requires the meaningful participation of youth. Young people have much more to achieve. Young people have much more to offer to societies, from innovation to creativity to new thinking and many more. Their participation in democracy promotes active citizenship, strengthens social responsibility, and can enhance democratic process and institutions. And today's young citizens are tomorrow's leaders and decision makers. Youth comes but once in a lifetime, and so it is. Hence, it should be a period of life that is dealt with responsibility in the true spirit of enterprise and with the will to spend one's time and energy for the benefit of others. Young people can contribute to democracy through voting. It is a powerful way to have an impact on issues that affect them and their communities. Young voting strengthens democracy. Young people are the pillars of our nation. They are more in number and they deeply care about issues. They have the power in numbers to affect changes on the things they care about and for their society. Young people can make changes by voting. They have a voice and have influence on the decisions. They have a pathway to social change. Young people are very energetic and they have many issues. So they should vote and every vote matters. Each and every vote can lead to a government which we want, which the young nation wants. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Said. Now the next participant is Janvi Gaonkar.
Hi, am I clearly audible and visible?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
All right, let's begin. Okay. Good afternoon to our esteemed judges, to the organizers, our beautiful host, and the great orators out here. I'm Janvi Gaonkar, and I'm here to speak on the topic: Has democracy been rooted in our country? Loudspeakers blaring with appeals to vote for a particular candidate, banners, flags, and colorful posters waved by railing masses, speeches are giving out fires, debates and arguments, motorcades, walks and marches, house to house campaigns. Leaflets and pamphlets are being distributed. Candidates appear on television for interview, and one of the journalist questions is why is JNU silent tonight? Here in these images, flashed across your mind's eye, the gateway opens to your understanding of democracy. Let us forget the excitement of elections for a moment and ask ourselves: has the democracy been rooted in our country? Let us begin. Freedom that brings responsibility, to borrow a thought from Nehru's tryst with destiny's speech, is the bedrock of democracy. It is the power vested in the people, or as the word democracy says, rule of the people. Leadership that arises out of the people's will and mandates that democracy drives forward. Etymologically, democracy is derived from the Greek word demos, which means people, and kratos, which stands for power. Thus, the literal meaning of democracy is the power of the people. Aristotle the Great defined democracy as a government by many. Democracy, the country's ruling power, is not given in the hands of a particular person or a group of persons, but the community of members as whole, without any distinction of caste, color, creed, or sex. Democracy thrives where there is a free flow of ideas. It thrives when the individual's dignity and fundamental rights are upheld, preserved, and cherished. It thrives when the opposition is robust and constructive critic of the government policies. Of course, where there is a constitution, the judiciary plays a significant role in upholding the values enshrined in the constitution. The distinct feature of the Indian democracy is we have universal adult franchise, one man and one vote, a written constitution that defines the role of legislature, executive, and judiciary. However, this is a political democracy. A complete democracy is a social philosophy. For decades, the battle of equality for democratic rights of citizens has begun. It is a battle arising in the fields of Jammu and Kashmir, within the halls of parliament and assemblies, also at the bridges in Gujarat, the vineyards of Nasik, the Goa's forest area, the streets of in New Delhi by the students. It is a battle fought by soldiers, often by union leaders, suffragists, pullman porters, student leaders, waves of immigrants, and LGBTQ activists. They are armed with only picket signs, pamphlets, a pair of marching shoes to shoulder the democratic walk of equality. But there is a question in this battle: do we Indians care to match the reality of Indian democracy at its nation's ideals? If yes, then do we believe that our notions of self governance, individual freedom, equality of opportunity, and equality before the law apply to everyone? Or have we committed to the practice not in the statute, those things been reserved for privileged few? We have to fight democracy rigorously in the world of international chain of supply, transnational terrorist network, climate change is increasing correlation, because we believe it is time to discard the parable, the examination of our India's past, and the cursory glance at the democracy that shows that this nation's ideals have been subjected to conquest. The role of media, again, has been played in a worthy way for consideration. And that is why, whenever a leader takes over in a democracy, his first act is to curb the media. In the 21st century, we can see through communication tools like radios, news channels, social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, are capable of contributing ideas and critics, which has marked the existence of democracy in the remotest parts of this country. We aspire for a better India and are not ready to abandon the possibility of a powerful democratic India, not just for future Indians, but for all humankind. This democracy tells the real stories that inspire young people to aim for a life in public service. The role of democracy is an institution which is naturalistic in this establishment. And that is why the world watches the diverse India evoking to vigorous democracy, the only country in the history made up of people from every corner of the world, varied culture, dialects, etc. Because democracy has helped us to have hope. It is because we have learned to place our faith in fellow citizens, leaders of today, the next generation of opinion makers whose beliefs are of equal worth of all citizens. And that's why we glance ahead at Indian democracy, which remakes the world beyond an evolution on insisting the principles of change, truly aligning what is best for you and me to dedication and a big dosage of determination. Even as the political slogans and sound bites still will sway away our hearts and minds, even the excitement and frenzy of campaign taking over every few years, the hope expressed by Abraham Lincoln will always live on. The government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. Democracy is best seen when the governments are voted out. It reminds the leaders that people rely and choose the best ministers in the masses. What is now required for the people to become more educated and aware about their power to right to vote? And how important it is to exercise this franchise when they get the chance to do so. If you all ask me today, Janvi, has the democracy been rooted in our country? It never has, it never is, and will never be. And hence, I like to sum up on the following quote by Honorable Chief Justice of India, N.V. Ramanna said, a young and a vibrant democracy begins with questions, doubts, criticism, expressed opinions, and the freedom to explore the paths of learning. Thank you so much, each and every one of you.
That was wonderful, Janvi. We enjoyed your speech. Now let's go move forward with our participant. Next participant, Yash Savankar.
I am audible, ma'am.
Yes, you are audible.
नमस्कार. माझे नाव यश सरवणकर. सर्वप्रथम मी समोर बसलेल्या सर्व मान्यवरांचे, त्याचबरोबर स्पर्धकांचे आणि खास सोमय्या विद्याविहार युनिव्हर्सिटीचे आभार मानतो की नॅशनल वोटर्स डे या दिवशी त्यांनी चांगला असा उपक्रम राबवला आणि त्यामध्ये आम्हा सर्वांना सहभागी करून घेतले. आज मी तुम्हाला डेमोक्रेसी अँड यंग वोटर याबद्दल माझे मत व्यक्त करणार आहे. तर मी आशा बाळगतो की तुम्ही ते शांत चित्ताने ऐकून घ्या.
Sir, I guess he's facing some network issues, and he has left the meet. So shall we go for the next participant?
Yes, we can move on.
Yes. So
if he comes, he can be given a chance later on.
Okay, sir. Okay. Our next participant is Vidhi Cheda.
Sir, in my opinion, you can give all such candidates at the last of the program.
Yes,
so,
sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
There should not be any interruption in between.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Good evening to respected judges, teachers, the organizing committee, and everyone present here. I would like to throw light on the topic young voters and their take on democracy. Voting is a fundamental act of civic participation through which people contribute to democracy. I absolutely agree with Mr. Pillai when he mentioned that voting is a powerful way for youth to make their voices heard and to have an impact on issues that affect them and their communities, and a road to responsible government. Our votes can be influential and even decisive. Historically, we as young people have voted at lower rates than older adults. That may be starting to change as 2018 and 2020 saw a major increase in the youth voter turnout. However, there's still much work to do. We can be a creative force, a dynamic source of innovations, and they have undoubtedly, throughout history, participated and contributed and even catalyzed important changes and political system, power sharing dynamics, and economic opportunities. I came across a research conducted by John and James Knight Foundation, which has offered important insights about young adults around the world, their perceptions of media, the way they interact with the news and information, and what that means for civic engagement and our democracy. It concluded that we, as new and rising generation of young potential voters, are reliant on social media for news and information and general lack of engagement with news and information related to politics and young people communities. All of this can contribute to overall distrust in the results of democratically administered elections. People under the age of 35 are rarely found in formal political institutions. In a third of country, eligibility for the national parliament starts as 25 years or higher, and it is a common practice to refer to politicians as young if they are below 35 or 40 years of age. In countries emerging from conflicts, United Nations Development Function recognizes that young people can engage in peace building, leading non-violent revolutions using non-technologies to mobilize societies to bring about a change. We have demonstrated the potential to build bridges across communities, working together, helping to manage conflict and promote peace. We, as young people, are vital stakeholders in conflict and in peace building. We can be agents of change and provide a foundation for rebuilding lives and communities. To promote voting among young people, an enabling environment, skills and capacities for legal frameworks, policies and plans for young people's participation in a broad range of processes such as electoral and parliamentary processes, public government, and local governance. It can also be improved through a number of approaches such as education and capacity building. Structures can be developed for institutionalizing youth participation in decision-making processes that affect young people, such as establishing youth advisory groups, youth networks, and positive civic management. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vidhi, for the wonderful performance. Next, we will move on to our next participant, V. Srivatsan.
Yeah, is it visible?
Yeah, you're visible. Please go ahead.
Yeah, just so hey guys, I'm Shivatsan, and I'll be speaking about a topic: should voting be made mandatory? So voting as all know is not just a right; it's also a responsibility. So people who vote during the elections in India or any other country, maximum for all the countries, represent just a percentage of the total population, not the entire population. So voting should be made compulsory so that the leaders who are elected deserve to lead the nation. India needs to become more politically literate. So a lot of measures need to be taken. So just giving people the right to vote, is not enough. So you need to make voting mandatory, as this ensures that people learn about their position and respect to issues such as social change, empowerment, and all these things. So Indian voters need to become more involved in the electoral process. So currently there are gaps between the urban and the rural areas of India when it comes to critical issues such as growth and development. So electoral politics has become rampant because only a cross section of the population bothers to vote, while the others just do not. They don't mind all these things. So this can change if voting is made compulsory. So let me give an example of country like Australia. Australia is one of the very few countries across the globe which mandates voting is compulsory. So Australia, as you all know, is a developed country, so it's doing well on the economic front. And countries like Singapore are also forging ahead because all of its citizens are mandated by law to cast their votes. So if India wants to rival the growth and development of such countries, the legislators must summon the courage, must have the courage to initiate processes for making voting mandatory. So in a number of countries where casting a vote is an option, according to research, the researchers have found out that voter turnout does not, often reach a healthy percentage when voting is not mandatory. So what does low voting turnout mean? So low voter turnout can often tip the scales and cause unworthy candidates to secure a victory. So if a citizen is satisfied with the performance of a particular political party, let's say I am voting and I will be voting for, and I like BJP. Let's say I like BJP. So if I am happy with the way BJP is currently ruling, I should actually go and vote for BJP. That is if I'm 18 above and I have a voter ID and all these things, I should go and vote BJP. What do most of the people do? They just, stay out there. Like they are just lazy. Like, okay, I don't mind. Let them be itself. Let the others vote. Why should I go and vote? So voter apathy, has become a huge problem in many parts of India. So local and central governments are spending humongous amount of money and resources to create campaigns that encourage people to vote. So all these expenditure can be eliminated if voting would be made compulsory. So compulsory voting came about in several nations as a response to poor voter turnout. This is remedied a situation for many nations. Consider the fact Australia has reported more than 90% voter turnout for elections since the year voting was made compulsory for all of its citizens. So compulsory voting is all about people making the state accountable for all of its actions. The nation is now made to vote at the polls. Problems such as vote capturing, criminalization of politics would be eliminated. So most of them don't vote. So what do the person think? We can do whatever we want. So many aren't gonna vote, many aren't gonna mind. So let's just only the poor people mostly will be voting. So let's put some money. Let's take all the rest of the money and all these things that they do. So that's why we need to make sure voting should be made mandatory. So there are a huge number of initiatives the local and central governments can take to make this process easy. So postal voting procedure, online voting method, because many of them say, especially in Corona time or any other time, like we need to go outside and all. We already work, and we also need to do all these things also. So we can do it in online. So doing it in online is pretty easy compared to the offline. So the workload is reduced and all these things. So I'm to control, as I said before, the most not having enough time to vote is the most common excuse given by the people who don't bother to vote. So if the Indian voters are encouraged to exercise their right to vote, strength in numbers can eliminate the electoral malpractices. If the entire nation judges the performance of the regional or central government, elections will reflect the true hopes and aspirations of the population. So the politicians will have no other way but abide by the rules put down by the people and not do things as if on their own. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for that amazing speech. Next, we'll be moving on to our next participant, who is Chandra Jadhav.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
तर आदरणीय व्यासपीठ आणि माझ्या बंधू भगिनींनो, या स्पर्धेचे विषय लक्षात घेताना माझ्यासमोर नेमके दोन प्रश्न उभे राहिले. ते कोणते तर आज तुमच्या समोर खरं बोलू की बरं बोलू. नाही म्हणजे खरं बोलायचं झालं तर ते तुम्हाला बरं वाटणार नाही आणि बरं बोलायचं म्हटलं तर ते बोलण्यासाठी मला खोटं बोलावं लागेल म्हणून ते मलाही पटणार नाही. म्हणून या खऱ्या आणि खोट्याच्या भानगडीत मी न पडता आज मला यामध्ये लोकशाही हाच मुद्दा लोकशाहीचा महत्त्वाचा वाटला. तर नमस्कार, मी चंद्रा जाधव, छत्रपती शिवाजी महाराज आणि डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर यांच्या पावन स्मृतीस विनम्र अभिवादन करून माझ्या आपल्या देशात लोकशाही रुजली आहे का हा विषय घेऊन तुमच्यासमोर उभे आहे. तर मित्रांनो, आपण जगातील विशाल अशा लोकशाही प्रणालीचे एक नागरिक आहोत. जगामध्ये 68% देशांमध्ये लोकशाही प्रणाली कार्यरत आहे. तर अमेरिकेचे राष्ट्राध्यक्ष अब्राहम लिंकन यांनी लोकांनी लोकांसाठी लोकांचे कल्याणासाठी चालवलेले शासन म्हणजे लोकशाही होय अशी व्याख्या केली. त्यावेळेस जगातील सर्वात मोठी लोकशाही ही सर्वसामान्य नागरिकांच्या त्यांची सत्ता असावी हा विचार त्यावेळेस रुजला आणि बोलला गेला. तर आज लोकशाहीमध्ये केंद्रस्थानी सर्वसामान्यांचा विचार असतो. परंतु आज देशाला स्वातंत्र्य मिळून 75 वर्ष झाले आहेत. तर आपल्या देशाची लोकशाहीची अवस्था काय आहे? लोकशाही निकोप आहे का? लोकशाहीमध्ये जीवनक्रांती घडायला हवी का? या प्रश्नांवर वादविवाद सुरू असतात. तर अलीकडे तर लोकशाहीवर चर्चा सुरू असतात. त्याचप्रमाणे त्या चर्चा हळूहळू मग निवडणुका, राजकारण यावर येऊन ठप्प बसतात. तर हा खरंच चिंतेचा विषय आहे. तर मित्रांनो, आपण आयुष्यात खूप काही शिकतो. खरं म्हणजे आपण शाळेतच नागरिकशास्त्र हा विषय शिकलो आहोत. त्यामध्ये लोकसभा म्हणजे काय, विधानसभा म्हणजे काय, सर्वोच्च न्यायालय म्हणजे काय, तसेच आपल्या लोकशाहीचे 4 स्तंभ याविषयी आपण अभ्यास केला. परंतु हे सर्व आपण जेव्हा खरोखर आयुष्यात जोडून बघतो तेव्हा काहीच तथ्य लागत नाही. कारण का तर आज आपल्या इथे नागरिकशास्त्र म्हणजे नागरिकांचं खरंच शास्त्र आहे का किंवा नागरिकाला खरंच महत्त्व आहे का या लोकशाहीत हे आपल्याला वारंवार तपासून बघायला हवं. तर आजच्या या म्हणजे जेव्हा रस्त्यांचा प्रश्न येतो रस्त्यांचा त्यावेळेस लोक आपले नागरिक महापालिकाऐवजी खासदाराला जाब विचारतात आणि हे आपले खासदार मंत्री संत्री वगैरे त्यांच्या कार्याहवाल जी पुस्तिका असते त्यामध्ये त्यांचे सेलिब्रिटींच्या बरोबरचे फोटो किंवा एखाद्या दुकानाचे उद्घाटन करतानाचे फोटो आणि कामाचं तर त्यांचं पाहिलं तर कमीच असतं. असं आपल्याला नशीब म्हणावं लागेल की त्यांचं काम कमीच पाहायला मिळतंय. तर अशा प्रकारे लोकशाही असेल म्हणजे नेमकं काय म्हणायला पाहिजे की आपलं काम बनतं भाड में जाए जनता असंच नेमकं इथे चालू आहे. तर मला हे इथे म्हणायचं आहे की नागरिकांनी एक सुजाण व्हायला हवं, जागरूक व्हायला हवं. आपण प्रतिनिधी निवडून देतो त्यांना त्यांनी नेमकी कोणती कामं करतात ते आपल्याला माहिती पाहिजेत आणि त्यांना जाब विचारायला हवा. तसेच प्रतिनिधींनीही आपल्याला लोकांनी जाब विचारला पाहिजे म्हणून उत्तरदायित्व असायला हवे. परंतु आजकालचे आपले मंत्री, खासदार, आमदार सर्व एवढे बॉडीगार्ड घेऊन फिरतात की म्हणजे गरीबातल्या गरीब लोकांनी जर जाब विचारायला गेलं तरी भीती सुद्धा वाटते. तर असो आपल्या भारतीय संविधानामध्ये लोकशाहीला खूप बळकटीने तयार केलं आहे. तर आपल्या भारतीय संविधानामध्ये सुरुवातीलाच आपल्या देशाची उद्देशिका आहे. तर या उद्देशिकेमध्ये काय आहे तर आपण भारताचे लोक भारताचे एक सार्वभौम समाजवादी धर्मनिरपेक्ष आणि लोकशाही गणराज्य घडवण्याचा निर्धार करू. तर खरोखर या एक एक शब्दाचा आपण व्यापक पद्धतीने विचार केला तर त्याप्रमाणे त्या उद्देशिकेप्रमाणे आपला देश चालतो आहे का किंवा आजचा समाज त्याप्रमाणे घडला आहे का किंवा तसे वर्तन करतो आहे का हे सर्व प्रश्न आपण स्वतःला विचारले तर आज लोकशाहीची खरी चित्र आपल्या समोर दिसून येतात. तसेच आज देशामध्ये पुलवामा सारखे घटना घडतात तेव्हा आपल्याला आपले सर्व बेहद आदरून जातो आणि तसेच धर्मनिरपेक्षतेच्या नावाखाली जेव्हा रक्त सांडवले जातात तेव्हा खरे लोकशाही समोर प्रश्न निर्माण होतो. जातीपातींचे शेतकऱ्यांचे मोर्चे न्याय हक्कासाठी निघतात तेव्हा ही घटना कायदे मानवाधिकार सर्व कागदावरचे कागदी घोडे नाचवले जातात आणि त्या ठिकाणी लोकशाही कमकुवत भासायला लागते. मला एकच म्हणायचं आहे की राष्ट्रपिता महात्मा गांधी म्हणतात की सत्ता ठरवणारे कोण आहेत सत्ता ठरवणारे कोण आहेत यापेक्षा सत्ता कोणाच्या हाती आहे, सत्ता कोणाच्या हाती आहे हे महत्वाचं नाही, तर सत्तेचे सिंहासन ठरवणारी किती जागरूक आहेत हे महत्वाचं आहे. तर याचा आपण विचार खरोखरच केला पाहिजे. तर मला आजकालचे चर्चा, लोकशाहीवरील चर्चा, वादविवाद ऐकून म्हणजे पुढील आजकालचं नाही तर पुढील पिढीचे भविष्य आणि पुढील आपल्या लोकशाहीचे भयंकर चित्र दिसत आहे. तर ते कोणतं, तर त्यासाठी आपल्याला मतदान किंवा मतदान हा लोकशाहीचा खरा आधार आहे आणि तो भक्कम करायला हवा. तर आज इथे मला म्हणायचं आहे की आज इथे डोकेवाल्यांची डाळ व्यवस्थित शिजते आहे. आज इथे डोकेवाल्यांची डाळ व्यवस्थित शिजते आहे, परंतु लोकशाहीची फाटकी साडी ओल्या रक्तात भिजते आहे. लोकशाहीची फाटकी साडी ओल्या रक्तात भिजते आहे. कौरव होऊन फार बघितलं, आता पांडव होण्याची वेळ आली आहे. तर सर्वांनी एकमेकांच्या हातात हात देऊन या मतदार राजाला आणि मतदानाला बळकट करूया. लोकशाही तशीच बळकट होईल. कारण आज आपण बघितलं की आज गर्वाने जगणारे नेते जेव्हा लोकांच्या आज दारा चुलीपर्यंत नतमस्तक होतात, जेव्हा मतदानाची वेळ येते त्यावेळेला आपल्याला नक्कीच सगळ्यांना लोकशाहीची किंमत कळते. तर मला एकच म्हणायचं आहे की आपण सर्वांनी नागरिकांनी जागरूक व्हायला हवं. त्यामुळेच म्हणजेच आपल्या समोरील आपल्या देशात लोकशाही रुळली आहे का, रुजली आहे का, हे प्रश्न आपोआप नष्ट व्हायला मदत होईल. जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र.
Okay, so moving further with our next participant, Aditya Gaikwad. Aditya Gaikwad, are you there? Sakshi Gavde. Devendra Chukekar.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
माझ्या माननीय गुरुजन वर्ग आणि मित्रमैत्रिणींना माझा नमस्कार. माझं नाव देवेंद्र चुकेकर आहे. मी चेतना कॉलेजमध्ये SYBF मध्ये आहे. माझा विषय आहे मतदान अनिवार्य करावे की नाही. लोकशाहीचा सर्वात महत्वाचा उत्सव म्हणजे निवडणुकीचा दिवस. आपल्या देशातील अनेक लोक निवडणुकीला आनंदाने जातात, पण काही लोक आहेत ते निवडणुकीला जात नाही. तो सुट्टीचा दिवस म्हणून साजरा करतात. आपल्या देशातील शहरातील लोक, समजूतदार विचारवंत लोक सरकारला 5 वर्ष कोसत असतात, टीका करत असतात, पण निवडणुकीच्या वेळी जात नाही. निवडणुकीच्या वेळी काही लोक फिरायला जातात, चित्रपट पाहायला जातात, मौजमेजेचा दिवस म्हणून साजरा करतात. तसे न करता आपण त्यांना समजवले पाहिजे की मतदान हे किती महत्वाचे आहे. 5 वर्षांनी निवडलेली सरकार 5 वर्ष सरकार निवडतो तेव्हा आपण नेत्यांना कोसत असतो, पण जेव्हा सरकार निवडायची वेळ येते तेव्हा मात्र अनेक लोक घरात बसून विश्रांती करतात. 5 वर्षापर्यंत लोकांमध्ये जागृती झाली पाहिजे की आपण त्यांना मतदानाबद्दल प्रेरित केली पाहिजे. अर्ध्या लोकांनी निवडून आलेले असतील सरकारे कसा संपूर्ण देशाचा आणि समाजाचा विचार करू शकतात. वैध कारण नसलेले लोक मतदान करायला नाही आल्यावर त्यांच्यावर आपण दंडात्मक कारवाई केली पाहिजे. सक्तीचे मतदान म्हणजे उमेदवाराला कायद्यानुसार मतदान केंद्रावर जाणे आवश्यकच आहे आणि त्याला मतदान करणे गरजेचेच आहे. जसे न केल्यास त्याला दंडात्मक कारवाई करावीच लागेल. असे काही देश आहेत ज्यांच्यामध्ये दंडात्मक कारवाई केली जाते. बेल्जियम हा असा देश आहे ज्याच्यामध्ये कंपल्सरी वोटिंग राईट्स म्हणजे अनिवार्य मतदान आहे. या देशांमध्ये आपण या देशांमध्ये पुरुषांना 1893 आणि महिलांना 1948 पासून कंपल्सरी वोटिंग राईट म्हणजे अनिवार्य मतदान आहे. असे जर न केल्यास त्यांच्यावर असे जर न केल्यास त्यांना कायद्यानुसार दंड ठोठावण्यात येतो. स्वित्झर्लंड, नेदरलँड, व्हेनेझुएला, इटली या देशांमध्येही कंपल्सरी वोटिंग राईट होते, पण काळानुसार हे रद्द केले गेले. 1967 साली नेदरलँडने अनिवार्य वोटिंग राईट काढून कंपल्सरी वोटिंग राईट हा नियम रद्द केला गेला. त्याच्या दुसऱ्या निवडणुकीच्या वेळी त्यांना 20% त्याच्यात निवडणुकीमध्ये घट झाली. मतदार हा प्रत्येक व्यक्तीचा हक्क आहे. यासाठी भाजपच्या खासदाराने 2005 साली कंपल्सरी वोटिंग हे विधायक जाहीर केले होते, पण या विधायकाला बहुमत नसल्यामुळे हे विधायक पुढे गेले नाही. कुठल्याही व्यक्तीला दबाव आणून मतदान करणे हे संविधानाचे उल्लंघन आहे असे कहून अनेक पक्षांनी व काँग्रेसनी त्याचा विरोध केला गेला. नॉर्थ कोरिया हा तर असा एक देश आहे, या देशामध्ये एकच उमेदवार उभा राहतो आणि त्या लोकांना त्यांनाच वोट द्यावे लागते. जर तसे न केल्यास ते लोक शिक्षेस पात्र होतात. आणि ग्रीस असा एक देश आहे ज्या देशांमध्ये जर वोट न दिल्यास सरकारकडून मिळणारे सार्वजनिक सेवा रद्द केली जाते. बोलिव्हिया हा असा देश आहे, या देशांमध्ये वोट न दिल्यास त्या देशामध्ये 3 महिने वेतन बँकेमधून काढता येत नाही. तसेच असे अनेक देश आहेत, त्या देशांमध्ये दंडात्मक कारवाई केली जाते जे लोक मतदान करत नाही. तसेच मतदान करणे हा प्रत्येकाचा मौखिक अधिकार आहे, पण त्या अधिकाराचा लोकांना त्याचे महत्त्व पटत नाही. त्या लोकांना महत्त्व पटवण्यासाठी आपण त्यांना समजावले पाहिजे की मतदानाचे महत्त्व काय असते, त्याच्यातील आपण गैरसमज दूर केले पाहिजे. त्यांना मतदानाच्या प्रती आकर्षण निर्माण झाले पाहिजे. असे जर झाल्यास भारतामध्ये बहुतांश लोक मतदान करतील आणि तसे झाल्यास भारतातली लोकतंत्र हे मजबूत होईल. तंत्र मजबूत होण्यासाठी लोकांनी मजबूत असणे आवश्यक आहे. जर सक्तीचे मतदान हे लोकशाहीचा पहिला शंखनाद आहे. हे सांगून मी माझं भाषण संपवतो. धन्यवाद.
Okay, we move further. Our next participant is Sania Khan.
Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. Greetings to all. This is Sania Khan from FIBSc Chemistry in Abhinav College in Mumbai University, and my topic is democracy and young voters. Democracy and young voters. A democratic government is said to be the best kind of government. It ensures the active participation of the people, where the citizens get the chance to choose their government. The candidate party whom the people choosing is through elections. Therefore, we see how elections play a private role in a democracy. The party which secures the highest number of votes in the election process forms the government for the next term. This is why we see how elections are greatly crucial for a democracy. The rise in youths and not voting is a worrisome event that can be contributed due to psychological behavior, mindset, and attitude of youth. One of these issues are due to young voters feeling unmotivated due to their lack of knowledge, awareness, and education towards the voting and political system. Thus, increase political knowledge by introducing subjects in universities and schools that encourage youth to participate in political discussion, ensure that they know the importance of their role as youths in the development of our country. Breeding confidence in youth with that voting and voters with subjects that increasing critical thinking develops a positive attitude and mindset towards their choice. It is also shown that a person with higher awareness and education is more likely to be participant in political events. Methods such as the Reeling, protesting, and demonstrating can be avoided by showing youths the correct legal way of voice for people and voters' opinions through valid. And the last thing, from the basis of democracy, they are very important as they help the people in getting a chance to contest the election. It allows people to get a fair chance to work for their country and make a brighter future. Moreover, it also ensures that any person can become a part of the government and doing a vote without any discrimination on the basis of caste, creed, sex, religion, or more. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Sanya. We move further. Our next participant is Rina Yadav.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
हेलो आदरणीय
Yes,
उपस्थित
you are.
सभी अतिथि ओके थैंक यू आदरणीय उपस्थित सभी अतिथि महोदय शिक्षकगण और मेरे प्यारे मित्रों, मैं रीना अवधेश यादव आज आप सभी के सामने क्या मतदान जरूरी किया जाना चाहिए इस विषय पर अपने विचार व्यक्त करना चाहती हूँ। आशा करती हूँ कि आप सभी ध्यानपूर्वक सुनेंगे। जैसा कि हम सब जानते हैं कि हमारा भारत देश एक लोकतांत्रिक देश है और लोकतंत्र में मतदान सबसे महत्वपूर्ण होता है, जिसमें मतदाता भाग लेकर अपने कीमती मत का दान करते हैं और देश के लिए एक प्रतिनिधि को चुनते हैं। हमारा मत ही देश का भविष्य तय करता है और मतदान को लोकतंत्र में सबसे बड़ा दान कहा जाता है, जिससे हमारे देश को एक ईमानदार और काम करने वाला प्रतिनिधि मिलता है, क्योंकि हमारा मतदान ही तय करता है कि हमें हमारे देश में किसकी और कैसी सरकार चाहिए। लोकतंत्र से चलने वाला हर एक नागरिक का यह परम कर्तव्य है कि वो मतदान में हिस्सा ले और अपना कीमती मत देकर देश को एक मजबूत सरकार दे। अन्यथा जाने अनजाने में सही मत ना देकर हम अपने साथ साथ अपने देश का भी भविष्य बिगाड़ सकते हैं। लोकतंत्र का अर्थ ही यह होता है लोगों की सत्ता, लोगों का शासन। इसलिए जब तक मतदान करने का हक हम आम जनता के पास है, तभी तक देश में लोकतंत्र है। और जिस देश में मतदान करने का अधिकार आम जनता के पास नहीं होता, वहां पर लोकतंत्र का राज नहीं होता, उस देश में तानाशाही का राज होता है। मतदान ही लोकतंत्र की प्राण वायु है, अतः सभी को इसके महत्व के बारे में जरूर पता होना चाहिए। इसलिए ये सवाल उठता है कि क्या मतदान जरूरी किया जाना चाहिए? तो मतदान के महत्व को देखते हुए मेरा ये मानना है कि मतदान हमारे आम जनता के हाथों की एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण शक्ति है, जिसका इस्तेमाल करके वह अपना और देश का भविष्य संवार सकता है। हमारे देश में आप सभी को पता होगा कि 18 साल के ऊपर हर एक नागरिक को मत देने का अधिकार प्राप्त हुआ है। अतः सभी नागरिकों का देश के प्रति यह कर्तव्य बनता है कि वह मतदान के समय मत अवश्य डालें। आज भी हमारे देश में मतदान के समय बहुत ही कम मतदान होता है, जिसका प्रभाव सीधे हमारे देश के विकास और उसके भविष्य पर पड़ता है। लेकिन देश की आम जनता में ऐसे बहुत से लोग हैं जिनको मतदान का महत्व ही नहीं पता होता और इसी वजह से वह चुनाव के समय अपना कीमती मत नहीं डालते। लेकिन जो मतदान नहीं करते वह यह नहीं जानते कि उनके मतदान ना करने से देश की कितनी बड़ी हानि होती है। जब सही मतदान नहीं होता तो हमारे देश में ऐसे प्रतिनिधि चुनकर आते हैं जो भ्रष्ट होते हैं, कम पढ़े लिखे होते हैं और जिन्हें देश को चलाने का कोई भी अनुभव ही नहीं होता। और ऐसे समय देश में भ्रष्टाचार, बेरोजगारी, गरीबी, भूखमारी, निर्दयता, लाचारता, असहाय यह सभी परिस्थितियां उत्पन्न होती है, जिसका सामना मतदान का हक रखने वाले, अपना प्रतिनिधि चुनने वाले हम आम नागरिकों को ही सहना पड़ता है। इसका अर्थ है मतदान करना जरूरी है, क्योंकि इस देश का नागरिक होने के नाते और इस देश के नियमों का व शासन का पालन करने के नाते मतदान करने व ना करने व गलत करने का सीधा असर हम आम जनता पर ही पड़ता है। हमारे देश में कई ऐसे लोग हैं जो मतदान को महज एक त्योहार समझते हैं, जहां पर कई गांवों, शहरों व कस्बों में कुछ उपयुक्त प्रतिनिधियों द्वारा मिठाइयाँ,
पैसे, सामान व कुछ दैनंदिन वस्तुओं को प्राप्त करना व उनका संग्रह करना है। आश्चर्य होता है कि ऐसे लोग को इस बात का ही नहीं पता रहता कि उनके इलाके में कौन सा व्यक्ति चुनाव में खड़ा है और उसका प्रतिद्वंदी कौन है, बल्कि लोगों को ये जरूर याद रहता है कि गए वर्ष उसने हमें मतदान के समय उपहार के स्वरूप में क्या दिया था और इस बार हमें क्या मिलने वाला है और क्या मिल रहा है, कौन प्रतिनिधि है, किसकी सरकार होगी, किसके नेतृत्व में हम अपना भविष्य संवार सकते हैं, अपनी चिंता व्यक्त कर सकते हैं। इस बारे में उन लोग को थोड़ी भी परवाह नहीं होती, लेकिन कुछ ना व गलत होने पर उंगलियां उठाना इनके लिए बेहद आसान होता है। ऐसे समय क्यों मतदान जरूरी है, ये समझना बहुत ही आवश्यक है। ऐसे सभी आम लोगों को अपनी जिम्मेदारी समझकर मतदान में भाग लेंगे तो ऐसे भ्रष्ट लोगों के चुनकर आने की संभावना खत्म हो जाएगी। मंदिरों में हम दान करते हैं और हम मानते हैं कि हमने बहुत ही पुण्य का काम किया है, तो वही लोकतंत्र में अगर हम मत का दान करेंगे तो हम एक अच्छा प्रतिनिधि अपने देश के भविष्य के लिए चुन सकते हैं। और यह दान करने से हमें कोई भी नुकसान नहीं होगा, बल्कि इससे हमारा ही कल्याण होगा। हम सभी चाहते हैं कि हमारे परिवार में कोई बेरोजगार ना रहे, राह चलते कोई गरीब ना दिखे, किसी का हाथ हमारे सामने ना फैले, लोग तरक्की करें, अपने भविष्य बनाएं। ऐसे समय सही मतदान कर उपयुक्त प्रतिनिधि चुनकर हम अपने लिए, अपने देश के लिए इन सभी समस्याओं का समाधान कर सकते हैं और देश की तरक्की का अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण हिस्सा बन सकते हैं। इसलिए मेरा मानना है कि मतदान करना बहुत ही जरूरी है और सभी को मतदान करना चाहिए, जिससे हमारे देश को एक सच्चा, कर्मठ और अच्छे चरित्र वाला प्रतिनिधि मिल सकता है जो प्रजा का सेवक बने। इस विषय पर मैं अपने द्वारा रचित कुछ पंक्तियां सुनाना चाहती हूँ। ना होगी भूख मारी, भ्रष्टाचार और गरीबी, करेंगे जब सभी मतदान। ना होगी भूख मारी, भ्रष्टाचारी और गरीबी, करेंगे जब सभी मतदान। महत्व न समझकर इसका हर नागरिक कर रहा अपना नुकसान, महत्व न समझकर इसका हर नागरिक कर रहा अपना नुकसान। सही प्रतिनिधि है हमारी आवश्यकता, भविष्य सवारे सभी का यह है इसकी ताकत, भविष्य सवारे सभी का यह है इसकी ताकत, जिससे वंचित रह जाते हैं कुछ नादान। इसलिए जरूरी है मतदान, इसलिए जरूरी है मतदान। धन्यवाद।
Okay, so moving further with our next participant, Yashraj Sawant.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Alright. Good evening, everyone. My name is Yashraj Nitin Sawant. Today I am here to shed my opinions upon why one should carry out his voting rights. Please listen carefully. A sound mind in a sound body. You all must be baffled. What is this in connection to our topic? But a strong house can only be built on a firm foundation. The building of democracy can only be strong if voting is performed with proper logic and thought behind it. I'm sure you all will agree with my opinion. On the day of voting, people prefer to stay indoors instead of casting their voting ballot, which is the highest right bestowed upon us by the Constitution of India to every adult citizen of our country. Don't you all agree with this? As per a survey, in the year 2019, highest voting percentage was carried out, which was of 67%, and it brought about a change in country's politics. Of course, opinions matter, but opinions without active participation or responsibility have zero or even negative values. Therefore, everyone must participate in the national festival known as election. The MPs, MLAs, or the collectors are all public servants. The process of democracy by an election gives us the golden opportunity to select them. But the real issue starts here only. When it comes to voting, people tend to be passive enough. Active participation is very important. It is an obvious sign as far as a healthy democracy is concerned. The ruling party and the opposition are two important pillars, and it would not be an exaggeration if we say that they both are to be stood equally strong on the surface, known as voters. If you want your nation to change, if you want your nation to prosper and become stronger, you need equally capable and visionary government and leaders. That is why voting is important. But mind you, not any voting, but logical and thoughtful voting. As people often fell prey to the malpractices carried out by certain police parties, such as giving money and ransom in exchange of their vote. Such malpractices should be banned by the Election Commission uh, as soon as possible, and law should be enforced to ban such. Am I daydreaming? But surely this should come in reality if we are hoping for a healthy democracy in our nation. As a youth, I want change in my country. This can only be done by voting in elections. Problems such as poverty, illiteracy, unemployment still prevail in our country, even after 75 years of independence. Isn't it unfortunate and shameful? But I want to change this. This is why I cast my vote, and this is why I encourage you all to spread the awareness regarding it to as much as possible. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you. We move forward. Our next participant is Nidhi Tiwari.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Just switching on my camera. Actually, there's something issue with it. It's not getting switched on. Is it okay if I don't switch on? Hello.
Yes, you may proceed.
Sure. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Nidhi Tiwari from FIBAF, and I'm here to speak about a very crucial topic, which is democracy and young voters, which is actually a worrisome topic as a percentage of youth not voting are rising due to psychological behavior, mindset, and attitude of youths. The fundamental principle of democracy start with it's for the people, by the people, and of the people. And all the citizens should be aware of their right to vote because the votes of citizens directly or indirectly is responsible in the shaping of the country through the voting system. But before actually speaking about the voting system, first we all need to know what is democracy. Basically, it's a political system in which the citizens are involved in the decisions and the governing of the country regarding choices that will affect their lives. Now, there are many factors that can affect the voting turnout. And it does not take long to identify that the older generations voluntarily participate in voting more likely than the younger generations. A large amount of young voters don't even have their individual political views. They choose the one their elder family does and does not even bother to learn about the political system. And considering India has a large amount of youths, they are said to be the leaders and the futures who will determine the country's path. Therefore, political participation becomes the important aspect of the country. And therefore, one must try to encourage the political participation of young youth. There is a strong evidence that the participation of young people in formal institutional political process is relatively low when compared to the older citizens across the globe. This challenges the representatives of the political system and leads to disfranchisement of young people in order to respond to the needs of the young people and to guarantee that their basic human rights are recognized and enforced. Young people's active and meaningful participation in the society and in democratic practices and process is of crucial importance. Participation and leadership require that young people and young people led organizations have opportunities, capacities, and benefit from an enabling environment and relevant evidence based programs and policy at all levels. Realizing young people's right to participate and be included in democratic processes and practices is also vital to ensure the achievement of internationally agreed development goals. In a survey conducted by the UN in August 2012, a majority of 13,000 respondents expressing their voices from 186 countries highlighted that the main challenge for youth were limited opportunities and for effective participation in decision making process with limited opportunities and exposure. It's hard for the young and men to include in these democratic practices, and therefore they feel excluded and marginalized in the societies and communities. To make a difference in the longer term, it is essential that young people are engaged in formal political process and have a say in formulating today's and tomorrow's politics. Inclusive political participation is not only a fundamental politic and democratic right, but also is crucial to building stable and peaceful societies and developing policies that respond to the specific needs of younger generations. For young people to be adequately represented in political institution of younger generation, for young people, and they must know their rights, be given the necessary knowledge and capacity to participate in a meaningful way at all levels. Young people active contribution can bring democratic values to life, leading to the overturning of the authoritarian practices. Therefore, as said, one man, one vote, one value. Thank you.
We next move further. Our next participant is Sanjot Sandeep Dawle. Sanjot.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, I am unable to switch on my camera.
Dear participants, you need to switch on the camera. It is a must. Please follow the protocols. If you are unable to switch on the camera, you can change the device and you can come later. You can join the teams later and then your turn will come later.
Sir, but it is not happening currently.
The
and I
reason
don't
behind
have,
it, reason behind it that we have to judge according to your body language also, and without when camera is not on, we can't judge about the body language.
Absolutely
how
right.
You are, how you are, whether you are reading or you are giving your speech. So though it is a technological problem, but it is for all participants.
Yes. So the hosts, please make sure that all the participants keep their cameras on, and if they have any problems, they can log in with another device. And for such students, you can keep their turn later on.
Okay, so we'll make sure for that. So moving further with the next participant, it will be P. Ajit Rao.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I think my video is lagging a bit, but I hope that won't be a problem.
It's perfect. You can go on, Ajit.
Oh, okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. So I'm starting with it. It wasn't fate, it wasn't destiny, but courage and unity with each step that brought us here, right to this very moment, where we are the echoes of the victory, calls of the past, hope of the present, and spirit of the future. When on 15th of August 1947, the Indian tricolor was first hoisted at the Red Fort in Delhi, 340 million Indians belonging to different religions, cultures, castes, creeds, regions, and languages unitedly saw a step taken towards the dream of living in a country which will be governed by a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. A very good evening to the esteemed judges, teachers, and my fellow participants. Myself, P. Ajit Rao, and I will be delivering my speech on the topic, Has Democracy Been Rooted in Our Country? With a population of over 1.38 billion people, India is the world's largest democracy. But how deep-rooted is democracy in our country? The father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, once said, "My notion of democracy is that under it, the weakest shall have the same power as the strongest." True democracy cannot be worked by 20 people sitting at the center, but it has to be worked from the below by every people from every village. So, as we celebrate 73 years of India being a democratic republic, maybe we should go on to the grassroots level and analyze if we have done justice with our freedom fighters. Diving down this history, Vaishali, the capital city of the Vriji Mahajanpada, India, was considered one of the first examples of republican form of democracy around the 6th century BCE. So no one can definitely deny that ideals of democracy have been a part of the Indian culture long before the colonial powers invaded India. Today, India has the largest number of democratically elected leaders representing the people of India. But have the four pillars of our democracy, the executive, the legislative, the judiciary, and the most important, media, strengthened over the decades? The justice system is yet to reach vast sections of our society. The power of the executive seems to be concentrated not in the governments, but in the hands of few individuals, be it the center or the state. As for the media, keeping public interest in mind solely and not taking any favors, be it business or political, is becoming less easy to maintain. But I don't think that is enough reason to doubt the effectiveness of democracy in our country. Some people just don't get it. But India is a democracy not because what the constitution mandates us to be, but because who we are as people. Indian democracy has deep roots in the innate pluralism of the Hindu and Indic religious and philosophical thoughts, where the difference and diversity never made us uncomfortable as a people. Democracy cannot be guaranteed by a synthetic constitution. However nice it may seem in lobbying and drawing rooms, it needs a fertile soil in which it can germinate, and India provides that soil. The very reason India's soil will never accept a non-democracy as the norm is simple. It is the oldest heritage, starting with the Rig Veda. None of the four major religions that developed roots in India emphasize on exclusivity and exclusion. The religions, which form a major part in shaping the minds, from the very beginning, India has been democratic. Democracy in democracy, we still see eruptions of caste violence in India. And these constitute a major blot in our collective conscious. But we need to contrast these eruptions with the enormity of India's diversity. Come on, 1.4 billion people speaking a multitude of languages, following various religions, and confronting the enormous challenges of poverty, illiteracy, and external threats from intolerant ideologies. India faces two rogue nations on its border, and not just the one that we have lived since our partition. We do have conflicts of opinions and ideas, but that is indeed the beauty of our very democracy, wherein every stance has a right to be heard and to be democratically voted upon. Yes, there are many drawbacks of our system, but we still believe that our rights will be protected and justice will be served against all odds because our ideals and beliefs collectively frame the system of this country, and we maintain it by exercising the right to keep the government accountable. It is the very belief and deep rooted culture of our democracy that empowers India to conduct the world's largest democratic activity, wherein some 900 million eligible voters, which is about one eighth of the world's total population, are supposed to vote. And when they vote, they elect a person who once sold tea to be the prime minister of our republic. And it is the very determination to make its root grow stronger and deeper that empowers our election commission officers to go against all odds and make sure that election reaches to each and every voter in our country, be it in the coastal regions of the south or the rough desert regions of the west, the jungles of the east or the rough mountains of the north, or anywhere in between. Irrespective of their status in the society or level of illiteracy, everyone gets to cast their vote. If someone were to ask me, how secular is the democracy in India in one sentence, I would say that India is a democracy where a Catholic lady leaves the seat of the prime minister for a Sikh man who is sworn in by a Muslim president to lead a country in which 80% of the population is Hindu. I would like to conclude by saying that I have no second thoughts that India has democracy deeply rooted into it, and it poses no threat as long as we keep irrigating it with our faith and exercising our rights. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone for being patient listeners.
Thank you, P. Rao. We move further. Our next participant is Manish Hadkar. Manish, you there? Okay, we move further. Our next participant is Deepak Kamalia.
Am I visible?
Yes,
Am I
you are.
visible to everyone?
Yes, yes,
So may I start?
yes. Go ahead.
Yes.
I'm Deepak Kamal. I'm Deepak Kamalia, and today I'm going to share my opinions and speak about on a topic that is very interesting, and actually you should all know, have an information about it all. You know why? Because as we all know in India, there is the maximum number of peoples are in the age group of 19 to 30 age. It's 18 to 30 actually, but 19 to 30 has a more specific database. And when you're talking about the democracy country where the country is fully dependent on the democratic rule, the persons who are actually having the most number of things are actually need to be there to the foremost extent of that. Because the foremost of the extent, I can definitely say you that if a country having a democratic country and its young blood of that particular nation isn't actually doing voting and hasn't have an interest, doesn't really think seems to be having a great idea or what. Or very hardly things to say. I would like to start by saying is that India, as we have all known right now, that as it was shown in the as early as in the meet before, like the definitions of the democracy of the voting and right now. But how many of the youth does have the voter ID? How many of them are having? There are, with the amount is very negligible and whatever it is, 50% of them are only voting. So there is no way of giving voter ID in such a way. So India should actually make it compulsory for each and every person to have a voter ID. And you know why? Because if the voter IDs are there for the taking and it's compulsory, then the students will get educated. There should be campaign, the voter awareness campaign, voting rights awareness campaign. That what are voting rights? Why do we need it? If they are actually having awareness programs in the schools, colleges, and other varieties and all, India could definitely be more cherished and more prosperous in that motive. The youth of the country will take its step towards converting the society, towards converting the system, towards bringing new policies that is better for them. And young voters should not just be biased on their opinion and they think just about themselves. They should the country first. And then they have to think that which representative is actually more deserving of their vote. They don't give it like this is just a vote. They should give it like it is a duty, obliged. They are obliged to do it, and they should be feel proud that they are able to give the votes. India being a people's democratic country and it's using a large chunk of the population, the most of the things lies in the youth's hand. As India is the one of the most prestigious brains in the world. The youth of India, the minds of India, the youth of India is excelling everywhere. But in India, in the democratic public, it isn't. There is not a single honorable mention, man. There is not a single honorable mention in the whole judiciary, in the whole legislative assembly that does contain a youth that is not belonging from a political family. Not one single honorable mention. And I would like to say that whenever you go towards a democratic country, the one of the most important aspect is that why can't we have why can't we have politicians like Barack Obama, who not having a strong political background could stand with it? Why can't the youth be privileged or attend? Why? I want to ask why. Why doesn't it actually emphasizes? And I would like to end my speech by saying that the more you vote, the more the privilege you are getting of getting the vote, you should get it done. There should be awareness programs done by the government all around the park so that the youth of the nation could know the importance of the votes which they are possessing and they should not be wasting that. in the different points in the era, like they are wasting it on social media. The precious time they are waiting on social media, games, and also various other activities which they shouldn't, and focus more on the nation's development which their vote can bring. You never know one vote can do what to the country. You don't know that one vote can change the system, and if you aren't taking the vote, then what's the use? Thanks. That's all from my side, and hopefully I am being successful for getting my message conveyed through you. Thank you.
So let's move further with our next participant, Umar Sahed.
Good evening, examiners, teachers, principals, and my dear friends. Hope you all are fine. My name is Omar Sayyed. Today, my topic is on the democracy and young voters. Before I move on further, ahead, what is democracy in simple words? Democracy is a system of the government by the whole population or all the eligible member of a state, typically through elected representative. Now, why engaging young people in democracy matters? Meaningful democracy requires the meaningful participation of the youth. Young people have much to offer societies, from the innovation to creativity to new thinking. Their participation in the democracy promotes active citizenship, strengthen and social responsibility, and can enhance democratic processes and institutions. Now, today's young citizens are tomorrow's leaders and decision makers. Yet, young people's engagement with the democracy faces significant challenges threatening the future of the healthy democracies. Taking actions to engage youth with democracy can help ensure the better political decisions and actions, as young people are the best placed to express experiences unique to them, strengthen understanding and action of democracy and human rights. Empower and promotes young people, including by realizing the fundamental democratic right of the participation, promotes the well-being of the young people and development of their skills and experience. Have a positive impact on the eradicating poverty and hunger and achieving international development goals, promote peace, manage conflicts, and foster transition to democracy, as young people can build bridges across communities and contribute to more just and peaceful societies. Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's move with our next participant, who was actually there in the second list, the participant list, but due to some technical problem, he couldn't give his speech. So, Mr. Sanjay Giri, please go on. Sanjay Giri, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good evening to one and all. So sorry, judges, I was unable to speak. Okay, today my topic is democracy and young voter. Let me ask you some question. How important is the role of youth in a democracy country? The importance of the youth vote to any democracy is central to the cross-culture analysis of the unique role of election and the danger of abstinence in a democracy society. When give some opportunity to organize, voice their opinions, and play a meaningful role in a political decision, making young people constantly democratic the willingness and ability to foster positive, lasting change. They also became more likely to demand and defend democracy and again gather sense of begin. What is the relationship between voting and the democracy? Another responsibility of citizen is voting. The law does not require citizen to vote, but voting is a very important part of a democracy. By voting citizen and participation in the democracy processes, citizens vote for leadership to represent them and their ideas, and the leadership support the citizen instead. There are amendments of Constitution as our national evolved on July 1, 1971. Our national refuted the 26th fundamental to the Constitution, lowering the voting of age to 18. The process 26 amendment passed the Houses and Senate in the spelling of 1971 and was ratified by the state of July 1971. Democracy and young voter. डेमोक्रेसी एक ऐसा है कि यंग वोटर को मालूम रहना चाहिए कि आने वाले जनरेशन में जो क्या होने वाला है और क्या नहीं होना चाहिए, क्योंकि आजकल के ऐसे मतलब जो नेता लोग रहते हैं वो बोलते हैं हमें वोट करो, पहले उन्हें विश्वास में ले रहे थे कि हमें वोट करो, हम आपको ये सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, हम आपको वो करेंगे। फिर जो रूरल एरिया के जो पीपल रहते हैं, वो जो अनएजुकेटेड रहते हैं, उनको लगता है कि हाँ ये आके हमें बोला ऐसा करेंगे वैसा करेंगे, तो वो उनको वोट देते हैं। बट जब फाइनली रिजल्ट डिक्लेयर होता है, दे नेवर सपोर्ट एनीथिंग। आई हैव वन स्लोगन ऑफ देयर, दारू पैसा है उनका हाथीवार, दारू पैसा है उनका हाथीवार, अब की बार नहीं चलेगा यह विचार। People should not be afraid of their government. People should not be afraid of their government. Government should be afraid of their people. Thank you, ma'am.
So it was great speech, and now we end our elocution competition. So I would like to hand over to Rajesh sir, and sir, would you give a
Hello.
speech?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Hello.
Sorry to interrupt, but my name was not taken. My name was my 29.
Hello, my name is Megha.
Tanvi Kiskar.
My name wasn't called out.
Okay. So Okay, so Tanvi, you can begin with the speech, I guess, because your name wasn't there.
Actually, I put it at 12 because I was having my online lecture. I have informed to you volunteer.
Yes, yes, you can go ahead, Tanvi.
You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay, wait a second. Am I visible? Because hello, okay, yeah. Okay, so hi, my name is Tanvi Pramod Keskar, currently studying in second year in VPN Soshi Bedekar College. My topic is, has democracy been rooted in our country? 2022. 75 years after independence, and still we are stuck on the question that democracy has been rooted in our country. We live in a country where we proudly mention our country as a democratic country, but we are not sure that our country has been fully sovereign country. According to books and past records, India became a democratic republic after its constitution came into effect on 26 January 1950. During the freedom struggle, the path of independent India was planned. It aimed at visiting the sovereign power in the hands of the people. But do you think that people in India have power in their hands? I strongly believe that people of India don't have full power in their hands. What democracy means is not a real picture of democracy in India. There are few terms of democracy that we can notice. The first is a system for choosing and replacing the government through free and fair elections. Second, active participation of people in civic and political way. Third, protection of human rights for citizens. Considering the above points, we can think these points are not fully implemented in India. No, they are not. India Democratic Republic, in which it's based on federal structure. With 42nd Amendment of Constitution of India enacted in 1976, the preamble to the Constitution is asserted to the secular nation. But the Constitution doesn't recognize its permit mixing religion and state powers. This was a picture of India, but in the other countries, this picture is quite different. Like the USA is also a democratic country, and the above 3 points are properly implemented there. So that country is a developed country. Supporting democracy not only promotes such fundamental American values as religious freedom and worker rights, but also helps to create a more secure, stable, and prosperous global era in which the youth can advance with national interests. As we all know, the concept of democracy comes from Greece, where Athens is often regarded as the birthplace of democracy. remains an important reference point for democracy. In today's world, the role of democratic government, which is to be elected by and accountable to its citizens, protects individual rights so that citizens in a democracy can undertake their civic obligations and responsibilities, thereby strengthening society as a whole. Because of this, democracy is considered as the best form. Here, people have the right to choose their own rulers. 167 countries and territories are democratic, out of which 164 countries are the UN member states. In 2007, the United Nations General Assembly resolved to observe 15 September as the International Day of Democracy. I think most of the people in India don't have any idea regarding the International Day of Democracy, the purpose of promoting and upholding the principles of democracy. There are only few people that are aware of this day, and this is not a right thing. Democracy is a blessing to all the citizens, and we have to implement this blessing in a proper manner. Concluding my speech here, the only thing I love to highlight here is that we are the citizen of a democratic country. So we should be aware about our rights and duties. And on the next Republic Day, let's hope democracy should not only remain as a theory part, but it should be in a practical way. Thank you so much for giving me opportunity and listening to me. Thank you.
Hello, my name was Megha. My name wasn't called out.
Hi Megha, but your name isn't in list.
I registered myself and I've been waiting for past 2 hours to be called
and I'm
out.
from KT College. Even my name was also not announced.
And I have registered myself.
Okay, dear participants, actually, after the registration, there was one WhatsApp group that was created, and you were asked to be the part of the WhatsApp group so that we could send messages every time. And I don't think that you people might have joined that group because actually it was mailed to you, it seems, by the CRs. So unfortunately, we are running out of time. So we will not be able to continue with the speeches now.
So here our elocution competition has been completed. Rajesh sir, would you like to say something?
Yeah. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone here. Democracy is the best form of government among all the forms of governments, right? So, and we will be able to make it strong only if we exercise the power of voting, which is bestowed upon us by our constitution. So far, students, we have spoken a great deal about the importance of voting. Now it's the time to walk the talk. I request each and every participants present here to connect with at least 10 people they know and spread awareness about voting. In that way, we will be able to reach out to the maximum people. The State Election Commission has implemented Maha Voter chatbot, and it is there in all the social media platforms. It is SEC has its several social media handles, like it has handle on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. So all the students are requested to connect with these handles, follow these handles, share these, and try to spread awareness as much as possible among the public also. So today in this event, we witnessed wonderful, insightful speeches by the contestants. I thank all the contestants from my bottom of heart, and I thank both the judges, Dr. Satish Mande sir and Dr. Anand Bodle sir, for their time, efforts, and energy. They were listening and evaluating all the contestants for more than 2 hours now. And I thank Supriya Rai Madam, Director Dharma Studies. She was also present in the entire event. And Dr. Prashant Kumar, Director CIRAC. Dr. Shubha Pandit Madam, Principal KJSCE. Dr. Nandakumar Gilke sir, Registrar SVU, and Professor Pillai sir, Vice Chancellor. We were really fortunate to have his great words. So I thank all the participants. I thank all the coordinators who coordinated with me to um, conduct this particular event successfully. I thank all the students also. I thank Angel, Shubham, Vaishnavi, and other students who have made this event successful. Thank you so much. So I conclude that the event is over. Thank you so much. VC sir wants to say something, it seems. Sir, please unmute yourself. Sir,
Thank you very much. Congratulations. We were really fortunate to have very good speeches by students and very good elocution, and it's a very good thing. So please give a report, concise report of today's event, this event, to the newsletter to Professor Geeta Shashidharan. You know, in the Management Institute, we have a newsletter, Somaiya Vidyavihar University newsletter. Give a concise report of today's event. Maybe if you have some with the participants' name, but you have maybe a 100-word report to Professor Geeta Shashidharan, who is the editor of the Somaiya Vidyavihar University newsletter, because it has to be covered properly. It will go to entire public. So please give a concise report by tomorrow.
Sure, sir.
Maybe 1-2 paragraph report. Who all participated? What was the theme? And maybe participants list should be given, or who all participated in which institution, because it's an encouragement for them, all participants. Yes. And the whole event, you just prepare a concise report and send it to Professor Geeta Shashidharan, School of KJ Somaiya Institute of Management. She's the editor of the. I already told her, but give report. Yes. Congratulations,
yes, sir. Sure,
to each and everyone.
Sir, one moment, sir. Actually, the judges wanted to declare the results now only. So I request Dr. Anand Bodle, sir, and Dr. Satish Mande, sir, to declare the results if they are ready with it. Sir, you are on mute, sir. Satish, sir, please unmute yourself. Pandey sir, please.
I have given my result, but I think it should be totaled and then it should be announced.
Kinjal, are you ready with the result? Kinjal?
Yes, sir. Yes, in the same sheet I have added.
So, Satish sir and Bodle sir, please declare the results.
Kinjal, can I get a final table of that?
Yes, sir. In the same document, I have added a sheet.
There must be a third sheet.
You can see total.
I'm not able to locate it. Could you just a minute?
Yes, sir. Third sheet, there is a total that is given.
Kinjal, could you please highlight those columns if possible, because this is a long list.
Yes, sir, I'm doing
it would be really.
Kinjal, please highlight the first, second, third.
There is a 32 and 31.
Yes. There are two 32s actually.
Yes, sir, I have marked them.
Answer if you.
Okay.
Can announce the result.
Yes, sir. Very good evening to all of you. I'm extremely happy to make this announcement. Before that, let me just thank to all of you who are responsible for putting up this great event. Respected Vice Chancellor sir, our Registrar sir, Dr. Gilke sir, and HOIs, deans, faculty members, and all participants. Let me just wish you all happy National Voters Day first. And I would like to congratulate all participants. To me, all are winners, but we have to somewhere declare three names. Here, if I go through this particular list, I'm extremely happy to make this particular announcement here. The third position, there is a tie for, I think, third position. There are two members. I can see Simar Kaur and Tanzia Khan. These two members bagged third position in this particular contest. And,
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations to both of you. And second, P. Ajit Rao stood second in this contest. And congratulations, Ajit Rao. P. Ajit Rao. And I'm really excited to make this announcement now. Janvi topped, or she could manage to win this particular contest. She is the first.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Congratulations, Janvi.
Many congratulations, Janvi. I really enjoyed listening to you. In fact, it was a great pleasure listening to you. You made a fabulous.
I'm honored, sir. I'm honored. Thank you so much, sir.
So I would like to congratulate all the members and participants on this occasion. Please don't get dismayed. I think these three members have delivered fabulous speeches. If you go through the rubrics which were given to us, we followed all those that parameters or protocols strictly and managed to grade their performance. Okay. Thank you very much.
Best part is that there is no difference.
To all the participants and also the three winners, three toppers, all the participants. Congratulations to all the participants as well as the three winners. Please take their pictures and send it to the newsletter, as I mentioned.
Yes, sir. All the participants and the winners, so that we can take one group picture. Please be on video.
Okay, I request all three winners to please turn on your camera. We need to take a photograph. Rajesh sir, you can take a screenshot of this.
Yes, sir. I cannot see all the winners here, though. Just a moment, sir.
Simar sir, I think Simar is. I don't see Simar. Could you see Simar on the screen, sir?
No, I can see Ajit Rao, Tanjila, or Janvi. She may not be present here in the meet.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you once again, everyone. So thank you. I thank the hosts also. Let's conclude it.
Sir, sorry to interrupt, sir. I would just like to thank the organizing committee for this competition. It was very well managed, and I would like to thank Pillai sir and both the judges for their insights. And I would also request Satish sir if he could give us some valuable feedback upon our speeches.
Ajit, it is very difficult to say something about this competition because it was so close competition. And another problem was that due to this electronic media, we could not guess exactly who is reading and who is actually orating the things. So I'll just give you all the very best wishes, and we will on behalf of the management and judges, we will congratulate you all, because one or two marks difference doesn't mean that those who have not won the prizes, they were not actually good enough. So I surprised that you have got a very good knowledge of the subject. That part was with every speaker. Only thing, presentation and your body language made the difference. So those who were good in speaking and due to their oratory power, they won the whole competition. But I appreciate that this topic was kept for the competition, and you people are young and you should be more enthusiastic for this. Actually, it is meant for you. So you should, as Rajesh sir told, that you should spread this news and spread this uh, awareness to the young minds, and so that whenever you are eligible for the voting, you should choose the right candidate, and then you should vote it. One thing I observed, that everybody told about the voting rights, and it should be compulsory and mandatory, but you should always be able to choose the right candidate. That is the most important thing when you are voting for the democracy and better democracy. So that awareness should be also there. And you should not be uh, mobilized with the social media. That another point I want to make, because social media is making a lot of good and bad impacts on the minds of young generation. So, how you are driven with the social media, that will be that will create something good also, that will even be harmful also for the democracy. So that was my observation. But I again tell that all the speakers were very good, well prepared, and their expression was good. Only thing that some of them were having that oratory power and speaking capability that made the difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. After, sir, would you like to say something?
Did you say anything, Disha?
Yes, sir, I said, would you like to say anything about this event? And
Okay, as I told you that it was a kind of treat for all of us. In fact, I enjoyed listening to each and every individual speaker. As the sir rightly mentioned, it's sometimes it's very difficult for all of us to understand whether you're delivering your speech on your own or you're reading through your note. But you know that all of us must have observed Janvi made such a powerful speech. You know that voice modulation, and there are so many other aspects which make a lot of difference in your public speech. Okay, so maybe your voice modulation during your speech, your facial expressions, your presence, and the way you maintain your flow of speech right from the beginning, that helps you to make an impactful speech. Okay, and I thoroughly enjoyed listening to some of you, especially Janvi, P. Ajit Rao, that Simar core. Okay, So these are, they're good speakers. In fact, they were well informed as far as topic is concerned. They prepared their topic thoroughly, and they tried to relate their concept, the ideas with the occasion, the occasion of this particular contest closely. Okay, so once again, I would like to thank you all who invited us to be a part of this particular event, and gave us an opportunity to judge this particular event. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the feedback.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I would like to congratulate Janvi, Simar, and Tanzila.
Congratulations to fellow winners as well. Thank you.
Thanks, students. Thanks, judges, for your insights. Let us conclude. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, Rajesh sir.
Thank you, Rajesh sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So here we would officially end our meet.